The Rings of Powers. Oh my goodness. So again, how many times have we said this was going to happen? A lot. This is something we've been battling since it really became a big problem with Lucasfilm and Star Wars. Once The Last Jedi started to get some...
Oh my God, let it go. Money printing factory for all of you. You could not be happier. You should all be taxed. You should be giving Rian Johnson a cut of your salary for the rest of your lives because holy he made all your careers. Hey, has everyone here seen the new Lord of the Rings? Have you watched it? Have you enjoyed the rings? There's a severe lack of rings I found when I was watching it. I wanted there to be more rings. I assumed in the show The Rings of Power we would get to see at least one ring, but I only saw a very small amount of rings. Here's the deal. The predictiveness of the neckbeards has come out, and they're all very mad right now at the fact that the Lord of the Rings show apparently is woke. Now, they don't mean woke by the actual definition of woke, which of course started in black vernacular in the United States, and it usually was in reference to people who were self-aware of issues concerning black people. Are you aware of these? Do you awaken yourself to these kind of concepts, to the suffrage of black people, black history, systemic racism, all that kind of stuff? But instead, the neckbeards of the internet have reappropriated it, and it means a thing I don't like. So basically, if they say the movie's gone woke, it's because there's a woman in it, because they don't like women. They're not big fans of women. They like having the sex with the women, but they don't like the women to have any kind of roles or power or prestige or anything like that, or be strong. Heaven forbid. Goddamn, nothing scares them more than lady muscles. So there's that, or minorities. Usually, it's like, oh, indigenous person in movie. This means it's woke. Oh, black person is in this role. That means it's woke. Now, because there has been so much noise about this series, I walked in thinking that the entire cast was going to be diverse as fuck. That I was basically going to walk into a Model UN when I see this show, and it's going to just blow my mind. And that is not the case. It's still white as fuck. It's like, and I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm saying that as in like, how did this piss so many people off? Like, there is one half black elf. That's it. Otherwise, the elves are overwhelmingly white, blonde, as Aryan as can be. Like, I do not understand why everyone got so big mad about this movie, being like, whoa. Maybe it's because like the half black elf happens to be awesome. It's like he's a very noble character. He's very brave. He's very hot. Maybe that's it. I don't get it. But honestly, that was it. That was the moment that made everyone just be like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. You're wokage.
You get what you deserve. Amazon is doing everything in their power to silence people from having opinions about Rings of Power because...
Oh, by the way, so the neckbeards got really mad about this before it even was released because the trailer, again, had some non-white characters and women. So they were basically doing that thing they always like to do where they mass flood reviews before they've ever seen the thing in question. And so that's what's been happening. Yes. And so Amazon was like, wait, why are we getting mass flooded with thousands of reviews on a show that isn't even out yet? So we're gonna turn that off. They 1984'd your pre-review hatred. That's true.
They're trying to create a false narrative. This is something we have seen from other studios and other companies, because when they make these series or these movies that are built on identity politics and ruining the lore, they do everything in their power to silence.
By the way, the fact that they're saying that, I genuinely thought that this is somehow going to, like, there's going to be a black elf, and when he's presented, all of a sudden he's going to be like, did you know that I was not fond of the white elves. Yes, they were never kind to me. In fact, some of them were elf racist to me, and I did not like, no. It's not even explained why there is black elves and white elves. It's not even explained why there's like different races in that respect. It's not like that stuff doesn't translate yet. I mean, maybe in episode 3 that's going to come out. I don't know.
Those valid opinions, because they're trying to create a false narrative so that the general audience won't hear any of that negativity. We're seeing it with fan reviews right now. We're seeing it with all of the shill sites out there. The
racism is actually directed towards humans. Yeah, I mean, like, there is a condescension from the higher born elves, who are, that's just part of the Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry if you don't understand the story or the lore, and you don't understand that. Like, these books were written in a kind of post World War II era to talk about a lot of the horrors and atrocities of society. And also, when it comes to that specific thing, That is a dynamic that was explored in the original trilogy. So that's nothing new. It's just like, I guess it's the fact, maybe that pisses them off more, that it's not explained, that it's not like acknowledged. Like they want the same kind of racism that exists on Earth to exist in the fantasy world. Maybe that's it.
Reporters and the varieties and the IGN trying to create that false narrative about it just being angry trolls on social media. They're just angry trolls, and we're not going to allow them to have their opinions. We're seeing all of that out there, the virtues.
Elon Musk, if that's your example, that's not true. He is an angry troll. Like that's actually proving your point in the opposite direction.
Signaling, and now you have Elon Musk with 100 million followers on social media. Someone that has reach that is almost beyond anyone else. There are a few people that have reach like Elon Musk, but now he's tweeting this out.
The fucking soy. He's soying himself. Man. To be a fucking right-winger now, every single time the new Elon Musk tweet drops, oh God, fuck, more soy. God damn it, fuck.
And you can see the likes, the quote tweets, and the retweets happening.
Hey, thank you, fat comrade. I appreciate it.
In real time as I'm recording this video. Elon Musk destroying rings of power. Right here he says, Tolkien is turning in his grave. This is not the PR you're looking for. And you know why it's not the PR you're looking for?
So here's J.R.R. Tolkien. If we consider what Merton College and what the Oxford School of English owes to antipodes, to the Southern Hemisphere, especially to scholars born in Australia and New Zealand, it may well be felt that it is only just one of the few of them should now ascend an Oxford Chair of English. Indeed, it may be thought that justice has been delayed since 1925. There are, of course, other lands under the Southern Cross. I was born in one, though I do not claim to be the most learned of those who have come hither from the far end of the Dark Continent, but I have the hatred of apartheid in my bones, and most of all, I detest the segregation or separation of language and literature. I do not care which of them you think white.
Because you made a bad show. It's that simple. Notice how when things like Cobra Kai comes out, notice when Top Gun Maverick comes out, notice when...
Tolkien was still a lib, though. Hey, I mean, not everyone's going to be perfect. Sometimes people tell me that, you know, George Orwell was more of a social democrat than a democratic socialist, even though he did, you know, fight Franco and volunteer in that time. But at the same time, one must acknowledge that he was not a big fan of the racism. You know, you can be a liberal and still be opposed to racism, even if you don't quite understand the systems that reinforce it and stuff like that, and how capitalism will stratify class and society. But still, it's just funny to see people like Musk come out and be like, Tolkien would turn in his grave. Could you believe what he would say if a single elf, one elf, was not white? Tolkien would not stand for this forced segregation. Hi there. I wanted to tell you a little piece of history. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but in 1985, Colonel Ollie North, under the direction of Ronald Reagan, ended up selling weapons to the Iranians in exchange for money that he had then siphoned into a rebel group known as the Contras. They were actually incredibly up people who were doing some really horrific atrocities, war crimes, if you will, but they wanted to fund them because, again, they were fighting the Sandinistas, who are, I guess, they were socialists. So it was basically, let's sell weapons, missiles, to Iran, and then use the money from that to divert it into a rebel faction group that is committing horrific atrocities in order to satiate the war against the commies. This is something that Ronald Reagan did, and actually technically would be considered high treason. Yeah, funny that. Ollie North ended up getting a pardon. He then worked for Fox News and then became the head of the NRA. Meanwhile, Reagan went on TV and was like, I did not know at the time that we were doing such things, and I deeply apologize. Yeah. You know how I know this all? Because I was able to go onto the internet. You might not have access to this kind of information, which is why I wanted to talk to you about ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is a VPN service that allows you to visit websites you may not have been able to before, and also do those kind of things like where you watch the Netflix movies that aren't in your region or hide your internet activity. It also gives you lightning fast speeds. It's quite good for a VPN service. In fact, excellent even. And you know what else is amazing? If you already use VPN services and you're like, why would I switch to this one? Well, you can actually support this show if you use the promo code that you see above you, and you'll be able to access all kinds of information. You'll be able to find out whether or not Reagan was tried for war crimes, whether or not Ronald Reagan actually was directly responsible, whether or not Ollie North to this day regrets what he did. If you want to find out all that kind of information and more, you should be using a VPN service. It's how you can mask your activity online, get more security, and again, if you use this promo code that you see right here, it's going to help you help the show. So please sign up for ExpressVPN today. Ronald Reagan says it's a good deal.
Better Call Saul. You just name it. When good shows come out, there's suddenly no angry trolling going on. There's suddenly no review bombing going on. There's suddenly no toxicity going on. It's almost like when you make a good show, people like it. And when you
Who's the star of Better Call Saul? Is he a cis white male? Might have something to do with the fact that there's no review bombs. Why do you review bomb at all? You haven't seen the content. It's clearly a political move. If you're straight up gonna be like, this show's fucking garbage, you all went woke, blah, no, you're gonna go broke, blah. Like, this isn't people reviewing any content. This is not them watching it. This is just them being like, I hate this because black person. I hate this because woman.
make a bad show, people don't like it. But when you constantly are dismissing people as angry trolls or racist, you're only making yourself look stupid. And now Elon Musk is going to put a bigger signal boost on this than you could possibly imagine. And if you look at the tweet below, he goes even further, where he says almost every male character so far is a coward, a jerk, or both. Only the brave and stunning Galadriel is brave, smart, and nice. And that's the entire...
Yeah, okay, I understand why. Okay, that all makes sense. That all makes sense. Arondir is a male character. Arondir is brave. Arondir happens to be very kind, happens to be smart, happens to be gorgeous. Why didn't you bring him up? Why didn't you mention him? Seems as if there's perhaps one trait that is upsetting you.
Entire premise of the show. This is what you get with social justice propaganda. It was always going to be this. We heard it from the marketing. We heard it from everybody involved in the show.
Galadriel's nice. She's a jerk willing to get everyone killed. Okay, well, I don't know if this is a spoiler warning because it happens in the first, like, I'd say 5 minutes of the series. So if you want something that happens in the first 5 minutes to not shock you, but it's also in some of the canon, I think, in that like giant encyclopedia. But yeah, she leads a team of fellow elves to the ends of Middle Earth to try and track down Sauron, and she obviously is willing to sacrifice all of them in her blood quest. That's basically what she's all about. And still, the neckbeards got mad about that too. I saw that action sequence where she's like fighting some ogre, and they're like, "That's not fucking realistic, you know. I don't believe a woman would be able to even lift a sword, let alone be able to stab a giant beast in the thing and then do the backflip and then look all cute with the swinging sword and all that. Super not realistic." Like, fucking, did you remember the old series? Like, fucking, or even the Hobbit ones? Like, doesn't Legolas like step in the sky on his own arrows or something like that? Doesn't he like dun, 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 like it's not realistic. This is fantasy. All of this is fantasy. It's not real.
We knew this was what they were planning on doing because you can see it from the beginning. You can see it as soon as they start marketing, as soon as they start showing trailers. We were seeing this from the beginning, and it's only getting worse for Rings.
This is wild. This is like, it's not even like I based on the hype, I was expecting this thing to be exceptionally fucking in your face with social justice issues and like social and like racial justice and all this. It's not. It's just not there. Like, this whole thing stems from like one character happens to not be white. That's it. A protagonist who is powerful happens to be a woman. Like, that's all there is. It's not, Elon is rolling in his grave, I tell you. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Power. Because you have ridiculous sites writing articles like this, and I'm going to read it exactly how they have this published. Amazon's The Rings of Powers is not for purist or racist. The Rings of Powers. You don't even know what the show is called. and you're trying to make this ridiculous argument that no one is going to take seriously.
I'll agree with you that this is just kind of a very strange way to frame all this, because it just kind of feels like, I don't know, you're making this into something it's not. It's not the social justice film of the century.
The rings of powers. Oh my goodness. So again, how many times have we said this was going to happen? A lot. This is something we've been battling since it really became a big problem with Lucasfilm and Star Wars. Once The Last Jedi started to get some...
Oh my God, let it go. Fucking money printing factory for all of you. You could not be happier. You should all be taxed. You should be giving Rian Johnson a cut of your salary for the rest of your lives, because holy shit, he made all your careers. The Quarterine has even said as much in his fucking panel shows where he's like, oh man, we hit the lottery with The Last Jedi. That was incredible. Yeah. Oh God, that was so much good. So much faux outrage. We got to be so mad. There was whammon. There was an Asian whammon. There was fucking a black guy again. Just, oh yeah, juicy content. It was amazing. It's fucking obscene just to talking about this. And it's so weird, by the way. This whole idea, go woke, go broke, does not apply to those movies. Those are some of the highest grossing films of all time. Your logic does not hold up. Turns out that some people did want to see themselves represented in movies, you know? It's a thing. You still have your cup runneth over, by the way. It's not like things have dramatically changed. It's not like the new Rings of Power had an all-Asian cast. Like, every single person was Asian. And fucking, you would have just, you would burn your channel to the ground if that happened. You would self-implode. It would just be like, destruct on the spot. You wouldn't be able to handle it.
Big backlash for being a bad film. Suddenly that's where the shift started to happen, and we needed to start blaming fans and calling fans racist and sexist instead of just dealing with the fact that maybe you just didn't make a good movie. Maybe you just didn't make a good movie. No. Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm, they couldn't accept that reality. No, they had to actually blame that on the fans. And that was the beginning of this really taking it to another level. And we've only seen this happen more and more with Marvel and DC in the comic book industry. Things like Ghostbusters 2016, it started happening prior to The Last Jedi, but it didn't hit another level until The Last Jedi. Now you have it with Rings of Power, or as this site calls it, the Rings of Powers, and basically saying it's not for purists or racists. What? The fact that this person thought this was a good idea just shows you the type of mentality we are dealing with. Now, currently on Rotten Tomatoes, it is sitting at a 39% audience rating. And then what's really interesting is now Amazon has said they're going to put a 3-day hold on fan reviews on Amazon Prime. Okay, now interestingly enough, I talked to Ryan Kennel from RK Outpost about this, and he said he pulled this up on his stream yesterday on his channel, and the number had not changed. So now if you Google Amazon Rings of Power reviews...
It is so sad that they do this, by the way. They do this all the time. It's just like, all right, we have our new cause. Here it is. We have found it. Another wokening. The great wokening is upon us. We now must bomb this fucking review. Look at this. Look at the critics like it, but the people do not. They hate it.
The first result you're probably going to get is an ad from Amazon.com. Do you see what I see right there? Do you see where it says 4.5 out of 5? 38.65 on reviews. That's the same number of reviews Ryan said where that it numbered on his stream yesterday. So overnight, we haven't seen any increase in these reviews that you see right there. Now, once you click on the link, you can't find it anymore because they're withholding it. So it seems like...
Okay, make me defend Amazon. I fucking hate Amazon, bro. But like, I don't know. I'm guessing a private company that is hemorrhaging all of their shit on this one series, the most expensive TV show of all time. The fucking online mad because black person or woman in movie crew like fucking review bombing their shit, that they would suddenly just lock it off. Not a surprise. I'll just say that much. It's not surprising they would take that move. I'm not agreeing with the move, but it's also kind of weird. Like what other recourse do they have? You have too much power. You've grown too powerful.
like they're controlling exactly what reviews are going to be counted in that and what reviews can be seen. And it seems like they're funneling out anything that's negative, because a 4.5 out of 5 is very high. When you're dealing with thousands of reviews, that's a very high score. 4.5 out of 5 is not accurate. It's not accurate at all. And all you need to do is look at the...
Why do you care? Like, it's not enough that they have these big ass platforms where they can make a video about how it's really shitty that Lord of the Rings went woke by having a non-white cast member or a non-male cast member. Like, that's not enough. They can't end there. Like, it's like, and now we got to talk about our campaign. All right, a lot of you have been working really hard. You're doing the Lord's work. We got into Rotten Tomatoes. Look at that. We got the Rotten Tomato score down to about 37. We can go lower, bros. All right, let's keep it going and keep trying to review bomb. If you have Amazon Prime, get in there, try. We're gonna see if there's a conspiracy theory or not. Don't know if this major studio is gonna want to have us doing this, but this is it. We got to do this. It's the only way they'll learn. If we don't do this every day, they won't learn that no one wants to see black people or women in TV shows anymore. Like, it's the only way they'll know.
Reaction online. Look at the like to dislike ratio you're seeing on YouTube. Look at the overall reception of this show. It's not positive at all. So they're trying to create a fake narrative to make you believe that everyone loves this show. It's just a few angry, toxic man babies that are trolling because they're racist and sexist and they're intimidated by women. Now, the funny thing is now, again, I've been labeled a racist and a sexist since like 2017, 2018.
wonder
It's
why.
really not a big deal anymore.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is Disa is my favorite part of Rings of Power. She's
USA fish flag sticker, patriotic fishing decal, vinyl die cut card, Trump or truck boat bumper window graphic. Ah, I see. Cool stuff.
easily the best part of Rings of Power, in my opinion. Disa is the first female dwarf, the woman that virtue signaling like crazy in the interviews, and I can't stand her interviews. But if I'm being honest, when I watched Rings of Power, that her and Durin, is that his name? Those were the dwarves.
Clean up your
that
room.
was the only aspect of the show that I actually appreciated. And Disa really brought like a fun energy and a fun vibe to her character. She's barely in the show at this point, but she's the best part of it. She's the best part of it. And of course, that still makes me a racist and a sexist, apparently. Like, no, I don't like all of her virtue signaling.
Holy shit, do you realize that he's doing the fucking I have a woman friend, but instead of a friend, it's I like a character? I'm not a racist. I one time liked a character who was black, okay? Yeah. I watched some movie about Malcolm X, and the person who played Malcolm X was black, and he did a good job, and so I'm not a racist. I watched the whole thing.
I don't like all the nonsense that she was spewing. But in terms of just watching the show, when she came on screen, I'm like, okay, she's actually good. She's actually, like, her acting is good. Her energy is good. There's just a good vibe to it. It feels good. I like this little bitty...
Basically, here's the rub. It's not like the greatest show ever made. It's definitely way better than The Hobbit. And if you like Lord of the Rings, you will enjoy it because it does a really good job of actually getting into a lot of the old lore, a lot of fucking deep cuts, stuff where you wouldn't think, like even like certain characters that have like actual like antlers in their backs, little details like that. Like they actually did some of the research. I don't know where the show's going. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, but yeah, it's entertaining. That's all there is to it. It's not a fucking absolute disaster because there's one fucking black elf. In fact, the Black Elf happens to be one of the better characters. Since The Rings of Power debuted on Amazon Prime Video, Neil Gaiman has become one of the series' biggest advocates on social media, and today he took aim at Elon Musk, who earlier commented that J.R.R. Tolkien would be spinning in his grave if he could see the epic Amazon show. After being asked what he thought of Musk's comments, Gaiman roasted the businessman over his recent failed buyout of Twitter. The Rings of Power arrived on Prime Video last week to glorious reception from critics and a storm of review bombing from viewers for a variety of reasons, from its depiction of Galadriel as an action warrior to its inclusion of black actors in the roles of Harfoots, and for simply not being Lord of the Rings as some have it in their heads. However, the series debuted as the biggest series on Amazon Prime with 25 million viewers tuning in. What a surprise! What a go woke, go fucking same thing. Like this motherfucker and Geeks and Gamers, like Prey was so entertaining objectively. Just if you're someone who likes action movies and Predator movies, that like None of the other neckbeards touched it. Even the quartering was like, yeah, good movie, whatever. I'm not going to do the whole fucking, the thing. But Geeks and Gamers couldn't help themselves. So they wrote the most racist fucking article about Prey. Just going into it, it's not about the fact that it's woke, okay? It's not about the fact that it features an indigenous woman. It's just totally unrealistic. Apparently, she has like a tomahawk and she attaches it to a rope and can throw it and then retract it. No woman would have the bicep strength to do that and hit targets. Totally unrealistic, bro. In the fucking Space Assassin movie. Cool stuff. It's the biggest debut in Hulu history. So the whole go woke, go broke thing doesn't seem to apply. There are films that try to be representational. There are films that try to talk about like social justice issues, and they have bombed prior. That is certainly a thing, no question. Oh, and that same fucking article too, these pieces of shit straight up used a racial slur for the lead character, and then afterwards, when it was pointed out to them, they were like, well, the character is based in a time when that slur was used, so we're not going to delete it. I was like, wait, what? Do you understand what that logic is? That's like if you did a review that was like, you know, taken during the time of slavery, and then you said, so this character is an N-word who was being a slave, blah, blah, blah. Like, it doesn't matter that other people used it in that period. You don't use it now. That's the whole point. And it was pointed out to you. And still, he was like, it was used hundreds of years ago, so it's not racist for me to use it. It's a word. It was never okay, even back then, to use it. It was a racial slur back then. That's like, that was a slur that white people called indigenous people. That doesn't mean that you can suddenly use it now. It's like, well, I mean, white people were racist back then. Can't I do it now? Am I not allowed?
Aspect of the show. But of course, I'm still those words because of course I am. Because we live in a world where those words don't mean anything anymore. They don't mean anything because the people that use them have completely made them lose all meaning whatsoever. But circling...
You don't know what woke means, and you say it every other sentence. But what are you talking about? Don't know the wording thing? This film goes woke, because it's the great wokening of wokeathons, and we got woked when we got woked, alright? So if you don't want to be in the woke, you have to woke it.
Back to the original point of the video, Elon Musk putting this out. Now you see us at 34,000 likes. It's going to end up with hundreds of thousands of likes right now, and that's only going to make it worse for Amazon. So you've tried to silence people. You're trying to protect...
Okay. I'm going to have a theory. A racist theory. Elon Musk and his Tesla plants have been sued, and in one case sued successfully, for the abhorrent racism that they have towards black people. That is a thing that has been documented by numerous black employees of Tesla. That not only was it exceptionally racist, that they were called the N-word repeatedly, that the N-word was written on walls, that they would be segregated into specific sections of the Tesla plants. Apparently, they're hardcore racist factories. And lo and behold, Elon Musk comes out, and he doesn't like the movie that has one half-black elf. Is that going to move the pulse? Is Amazon suddenly going to be like, oh my, oh no, Elon Musk didn't enjoy it? Well, we have to pull the whole project. That's all there is to it.
This show from valid criticism, and it's going to backfire on you gloriously. And I am going to make sure that I take full
Matt Patsworth's
advantage
channel.
Because you don't deserve respect, Amazon. You don't deserve anything. Your job is to work for the people, and you have done a bad job for the people, and then you silence the people.
Every time I'm like, oh wait, we're gonna get some criticism of Amazon about like worker exploitation, about how they're such a shitty company, how they consume all other like competition, how they actually destroy competition because the very people who sell products in their stores, they will steal those products and turn them into Amazon exclusive products and thereby undercut the competition in real time, and people have no choice but to use their stores. How they are dominating so many aspects of society, especially post-pandemic, making Jeff Bezos one of the richest human beings on the planet. No, just Amazon, you're supposed to serve the people. That's what you were here for. You were here to serve the people. That's what it's always been about. The people serve Amazon. The people make Amazon rich.
When they tell you you're doing a bad job, not how this works. Thank you guys for checking out this video. Have a great day, and we will talk to you later.
I still think one of the funniest things is fucking what's his face straight up like being like, I don't want to be on your show or talk to you anymore because y'all are fucking racists. that was funny. That was a good Geeks and Gamers moment. Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form, available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojak, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.